Good morning, everyone. Today we will start with our lecture now in a very fresh mood as we are having this lecture in the morning session. Today I'm going to start with our third unit, working with public clouds. Hope I'm audible to everyone and screen is properly visible to you all. Okay, so let us start with third unit, that is working with public clouds. So in this particular unit, we are going to cover what is public cloud, why to go for public cloud, then when to opt for public cloud. That means we are having public cloud, private cloud, hybrid also. So when to go for public cloud, so that there are some reasons behind that. So that also we are going to cover. Then public cloud service models and public cloud vendors and their offerings. So these models which we are focusing are IaaS, that is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, PaaS, and SaaS, that is software as a service. So for all these three models, public cloud models, what are the models, then their vendors and their offerings in these three cases that we are going to see. Then basic compute, storage, networking, and IAM services of, just like in private cloud also we have seen the compute, storage, networking, and IAM services. In the same way, we are going to see here in the public cloud case also, and the examples including Amazon Web Service, AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud Platform. So for all these three, we are going to see the compute, storage, networking, and IAM services in this particular unit. Then designing elastic, highly available, resilient infrastructure for varied application scenarios of AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud Platform. So for these three, AWS, Azure, and Google, how to design the particular platform for this, that we are going to see. Then financial and technological implications of running an application on public cloud. So what are the different considerations, implications for financial and technological point of view? So that also we are going to see in this unit. So this is the syllabus for the third unit. Then coming to the next bit, that is nothing but the introductory part of this chapter. So as the chapter name is what, working with private clouds. So what we mean by actually the cloud or the public cloud. So the definition, if we see, then it is like the public cloud is a cloud deployment model where the computing resources are owned and operated by a provider and shared across multiple tenants or the users via internet. Okay, so this service is owned by someone and it is been given to different users. So it is not limited with a particular organization with a particular number of clients only, but it is public. That means it is available to different kinds of tenants or users, we can say. So this is the definition for the public clouds. Then central idea of the chapter. So as we are coming into the new technology, and day by day the demands from different user for a particular platform is been getting increased. So to get the idea of what is exactly public cloud, what are the services offerings from public cloud, that part of the study is necessary for the study purpose. Then importance of the chapter in the syllabus. So as we are studying the cloud computing subject, so already we have studied private clouds. So what is there in public cloud? What are the different examples of that? What are the different offerings coming out of the public cloud? What are the benefits, disadvantages, and all these points are important for the futuristic use and accordingly the development. So that's why the study of this particular chapter is very, very important. And finally, the chapter outcome. So what are the different outcomes out for this unit? So they are at the end of this chapter, students will be able to our second and third chapter outcome will be achieved after this chapter. So that is, second one is choose a cloud deployment model suitable for an organization's hardware and software needs. And third is determine the financial implications for selecting a cloud computing platform. So which particular platform we have to choose for the organization? Actually, organization point of view, if we consider, then mostly it will be a private cloud. But here we will be considering the public cloud and its related examples also we are going to see now here. Okay, so outcome number 2 and 3 will be covered in this unit. Okay, so this is the basics related to this unit. And then coming to the next bit, that is, okay, so now we are going to start with our first bit of this topic. So what is public cloud? So if we see the definition for the same, then public cloud is an IT model, information technology model, where on-demand computing services and infrastructure are merged by a third-party provider and shared with multiple organizations using the public internet. Okay, so it is the IT model where on-demand computing services are like anything. Suppose, for example, this particular example we have seen in our first lecture, I guess. So suppose you are going somewhere else and where you have to give the presentation on one particular topic. Okay, so but whatever the system is being provided to you is not having Microsoft Office or any such basic softwares, but by default your Internet Explorer or Google Chrome that is been given to you, internet connection is been given to you, then what will you do? So nowadays Google is giving you the service of making your presentation, your Excel sheet, your Word documents online, isn't it? So at any moment of time, you can create your own presentation and you are having the facility to present it like this, means whatever the slideshow is going on, isn't it? So no matter you are having that software or not, you will be able to. Okay, so who is giving this service to you? Google. So he is that Google is the third party provider, isn't it? But it is giving you the service and it is been shared with multiple organizations using the public internet. So internet connectivity is a very, very important, it is must. Public cloud service providers may offer cloud-based services such as infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or software as a service, IaaS, PaaS, and or SaaS, to the users for either a monthly or pay-per-use kind of a fee. So how much data you are going to use? So it will be based on monthly charges, or how much you will you are going to pay for that. So it is like pay per use. So it will eliminate the need for users to host these services or site in their own data center. Okay, so that's why again the definition for the public cloud I have included in this slide. That is, a public cloud is a cloud deployment model where computing resources are owned and operated by a provider and shared across multiple tenants via the internet. So this is what the public cloud is. So the cloud service providers uses the group of data centers, different data centers that are partitioned into some virtual machines and shared by the tenants, that is the users. So these users may simply rent the use of those virtual machines, or they may pay for additional cloud-based services such as software applications, then application development tools, or the storage, depending upon the user's need. So whatever, if you want to use that particular software, you can go for it. If you want to use the storage space over there, you can go for it. Or some development tools are there, you can go for it. So companies often use the public cloud services for less sensitive applications that have predictable spikes in their usage, or for storing the data that does not require frequent access. So public cloud makes the computing resources available to anyone for the purchase. Then multiple users typically share the use of public cloud. So in contrast with the private cloud involves the cloud based services that are hosted within the organization's own private servers, isn't it? So these are the offerings from the public cloud. Then so again, what is public cloud? So public cloud, just now we have seen the definition. Again, apart from this, the public cloud provides the shared platform that is accessible to the general public through an internet connection. So it is the shared platform. So whenever in this chapter we are going to see what is public cloud and this, always remember the example of Google. So how? So like Google Drive, Google Sheets, Google Google Forms, and that information you just keep in mind, or the worksheets are also, so that you can understand the things very easily. Okay, so public cloud provides a shared platform that is accessible to the general public through the internet connection. So as we can access the different documents present on the Google Drive, so for that purpose, you need good internet connection. So with internet connectivity, multiple users can access the same data at the same time, isn't it? So it is a shared platform. Again, public cloud operated on the pay-per-use model, and it is administered by the third party, that is the cloud service providers. So just now we have seen that what is pay-per-use. So how much you have used, that for that part only you have to pay. See, we are also using the service by the Google. That is, we are having our email accounts, like for staff members. It is at the rate something, so some name is there, at the rate coe.sweri.ac.in. Okay, then for students it is coep at the rate coep.sweri.ac.in. Okay, so what is this sweri.ac.in? We are having our own email account or so, but from where we have taken these services, that is from Google. So we whatever the services provided by your own, or the email IDs or your accounts with Google, same services are provided with your college IDs also, isn't it? So we have taken some of the services from the Google, and for that we are paying some charges to Google also for that, isn't it? So it is pay per use. So the students, the staff members, and everyone in our campus, in the college premises, are having, or we are using the data, the storage space from that. Okay. Then again, in the public cloud, the same storage is being used by multiple users at the same time. So same storage, like suppose here CC have shared one particular document, where, or suppose for my example or any staff members example, what I will do is I will be sending you the assignment number 1. Okay, so it will be solved by you people, and where to keep them, or where to keep all these documents. So whether mobile phone is the feasible solution? No. So what I will do is I will create one Google form, and where you are going to upload your scanned documents of the assignment, isn't it? So where I can find these particular documents. So whenever you are going to upload those documents, those all will be shared with the respective folder in my drive, because I have created the form. Okay, so that whenever you will upload the document, those documents will be uploaded in my drives, that particular location, so that it will be easy for me to access the data anytime, isn't it? So maybe I'm not having time now, so what I will do is I will give you the deadline, that up to this time you should submit your document. Okay, and whenever you will submit the document, maybe if it is not possible for me to assess them today, so what I will do is maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow I will check it. Okay, and after checking, if with time also, I will get the information that which particular student have uploaded the document at which time, isn't it? So it will be good for me to assess, as well as per the collection date and time, I can use my criteria to give the marks, isn't it? So this is the solution where multiple users can use the same storage space, and they can upload or download the documents from there. This is one of the benefit of public cloud. Then public cloud is owned, merged, and operated by business, universities, government organizations, or a combination of them. So this is what these are owned. So again, we can take the example of our college. So this public cloud is owned, managed, and operated. So here, as we have taken the services from the Google, so they are owned, managed, and operated from our college staff members. like our Professor Daide sir. Professor Daide sir is checking all the things related to this particular service provided by Google, so that managing all your email documents, the drive space, and all these things will be governed or operated by the organizations like ours, that is Swiggy. So here some of the examples that Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, that is EC2, then Microsoft Azure, IBM's Blue Cloud, Sun Cloud, and Google Cloud. These are some of the examples of public cloud. So Amazon say EC2, maybe based on this you may get the MCQ that these are the examples of public cloud. Which are they? That is EC2, Azure, Blue Cloud, IBM's Blue Cloud, Sun Cloud, Google Cloud. So these are all the examples of public cloud. So if we consider the advantages of public cloud, so what are they? In the first unit also, when we have seen the bit like public cloud and private cloud, so at that time we have seen these advantages and disadvantages over there. So that is the advantages of the public cloud are low cost. So public clouds have low cost than the private or the hybrid cloud, as it shares the same resource with a large number of consumers. Okay, then location independent. So public cloud is a location independent because the services and the offerings are there through internet. So no need to sit for a particular location only. So suppose in case of private cloud, what was that? In case of private cloud, it is for a particular organization, particular company only. So if you are out of that particular premise, then it will be hard to access your documents. But here in case of public, it is by internet, so you can sit anywhere and access your data. Again, it will save the time. So in public cloud, the cloud service provider is responsible for the managing and maintaining of the data centers in which the data is stored. So the cloud user can save the time to establish the connectivity, then deploy the new product, release the product updates, then configure, then assemble the servers. So these are the activities carried out in case of a private cloud, but these are not there in case of a public. So definitely it will be saving your time. Then quickly and easily the setup is been done. So organization can easily buy the public cloud on the internet and deploy it, configure it remotely through the cloud service providers within the few hours only. Then scalability and reliability. Public cloud offers scalable, that is easy to add and remove, and reliable, that is 24/7 they are available. They are available to the users at the affordable cost. So they are giving you the benefits of scalability and reliability. But still, again, if we consider about the disadvantages, then a little bit low security, performance, and less customization is there. Security wise, low security because the resources are shared publicly. So if I'm saving my valuable data here on the Google Drive, but if somebody access my drive through my password or my account get hacked, then at that time, means with current scenario, Google is providing the security factors, but still, if I lost my password, or it is been grabbed by someone else, it is been hacked by someone else, then my private data will be in or insecure, we can say, isn't it? So low security, then the performance, definitely the performance of the public clouds is been dependent on the internet connectivity, high speed internet connectivity. So if you are not having high speed, definitely the performance will be lesser one. And less customized, means public cloud is less customized than the private cloud, we can say. Then coming to the next is, okay, so this advantages and disadvantages part related to public cloud we have discussed, but still, why to go for public cloud? So the advantages of public cloud just now we have discussed, like the low cost, location independent, it saves the time, then quickly and easily the setup, scalability, reliability. So you can add these points also here. Again, why to go for public cloud? So some of the other reasons may include, like many enterprise businesses look to the public cloud as a way to scale the existing IT resources on demand without committing to expanding their physical IT infrastructure. So for instance, instead of purchasing a physical desktop machine, a company can purchase a virtual desktop license. So this virtual desktop can be spun up or deactivated in minutes and can be located anywhere instantly. Okay, so no need to go for the hardware, isn't it? The public cloud is also a popular solution for the storage needs, since the data stored on the public cloud is backed up and accessible from anywhere. So there are many different types of storage plans, and data that does not need to be accessed frequently can often be stored in the public cloud very cheaply. So for the companies that host an application with periods or peak usage, the public clouds makes perfect sense, because the extra computing power is only needed for short time. So here, using the public cloud, that will save the businesses money in couple of different ways. Like first one is listed over here, lower equipment purchase costs. So that means because the employees can access and pay for the cloud based resources only when they need them. So using the public cloud based desktops and applications is often less expensive than purchasing the physical IT equipment or the software package that may or may not be used and will need to be maintained. So no need to go for equipment purchase. Okay, then lower equipment maintenance cost. So with the public cloud based services, the cost of maintaining these IT equipment is also passed on to the cloud service provider. So no need to go for wasting your money here. So a small or new business may have an easier time in migrating the applications to the public cloud. Organizations with a large legacy IT infrastructure and applications have more to consider and plan for. So, however, more and more enterprise businesses are moving towards the public cloud as one element of the multifaceted IT plan. So, this way, they can access the benefits of public cloud while also maintaining the different benefits that come with on-premises architecture and private cloud options. So these are the reasons for the for going for the public clouds. Then again, if we consider how the public cloud works, so the public cloud relies on the virtualized environment to provide the extension of a company's IT infrastructure, allowing that company to host certain aspects of its infrastructure and services on virtual servers that are offsite and owned by a third party. So public cloud service providers have different strengths and they offer a wide variety of services and pricing models. Then companies that are considering a migration to public cloud need to carefully consider their options when it comes to choosing a provider, especially if they will be locked into a long-term contract. So careful planning can help to keep the costs down on monthly cloud service bills, but the organizations with unpredictable public cloud usage may find it hard to avoid spending a lot of money on public cloud services when usage suddenly surges. So because the servers in the public cloud share the data from multiple companies, security in public clouds is also another issue. So encrypting the data is a good way to ensure the strong security over here. But if you are using a combination of public and private cloud, which is also called as a hybrid cloud, not all the encryption platform works across both the public and private clouds. So there is also an inherent security risk whenever data is moved between private data centers or public data centers. Then one last consideration is the location of your public cloud server provider. Data privacy laws in many countries require certain types of data to be stored in a country. So these laws change frequently. So it is a good idea to choose a cloud service provider that is located in your um, in your country and can confirm that the servers where your data will be stored are local and in compliance with the regional laws. So there are also some of the issues of latency, like if your data is being hosted on a different continents, it may take longer than if it were stored close by or in the premise. So again, just one consideration for comparison of this public, private and hybrid clouds. Now, public cloud versus private cloud versus hybrid cloud. So a company that needs cloud computing services can choose to use the public cloud, where cloud services are hosted by a cloud service provider and shared with some other tenants. So a private cloud, where the cloud services are hosted by the companies itself, or a combination of the two, are also known as the hybrid cloud. Public cloud offers the advantages of easy scalability. Although a private cloud is less expensive than using a public cloud, like after the initial investment in the infrastructure, so it doesn't scale as easily. Growing the infrastructure can require the purchase of additional equipments if the usage of the private cloud shrinks. So expensive resources and the equipments become underutilized. Hybrid clouds can be a great compromise for those considering. Tamjar, huh? Hybrid cloud can be a great compromise for that. It refers to any combination of private and public cloud solutions. A hybrid cloud environment allows the organizations to benefit from the advantages of both types of cloud platforms and choose which particular cloud to use based on the specific data needs. So for instance, suppose hybrid cloud provides an alternative for storing sensitive data. A company might provide the services via public cloud while keeping the sensitive information on a private cloud. So depending upon it, you can opt for any of the service over here. Now, when to opt for public cloud? When to go for the public cloud? So that reason is given over here. Uh, so till this point, if you have any doubt, you can raise your query in the chat window. If no query, you can say no. Oh, I guess no doubts are there. So we will go for the next bit, that is nothing but the when to opt for public clouds, when to go for public cloud. So some of the business benefits of moving to public clouds are given over here. So while defining the cloud strategy, business can choose between a public cloud, a private cloud, or a hybrid cloud. So this choice is depend on the several factors such as type of business, business application, cost involved, technical expertise, and other business requirements uh, in this particular service. So let us first understand that what a private cloud here is. So public cloud is. So public cloud is the most popular model of cloud computing. So in this, the cloud service providers leverage the internet and make the resources such as infrastructure, storage, servers, etc. available for the business. Third-party providers own and operate the shared physical hardware and offer that to the companies based on their needs. Amazon Elastic Computer Cloud, that is EC2, IBM Blue Cloud, Google App Engine, Sun Cloud, Microsoft Azure. These are some of the public cloud providers. So with the public cloud, the physical hardware is shared by multiple companies. The multi-tenant environment makes it easier to split the infrastructure cost across the number of users. So because of the cost, this cost advantage and pay per use, this kind of a model, the public cloud is ideal for small, medium size business. So typically non-sensitive public facing web applications which can get unpredictable traffic can leverage the public cloud very well. So some of the benefits of this public cloud are, the first one is cost effectiveness. So an extremely flexible pricing structure is one of the top benefit of public cloud. Most of the public cloud providers give business the flexibility to pay by the hour, means hourly basis you can use the service. It helps the businesses, especially the small and medium size, to tightly control their costs by paying for the infrastructure only based on their needs. Businesses can run their web applications without committing to a fixed cost for the servers, software setup, and the maintenance. Then, quick and easy setup. So businesses can set up their public cloud within a matter of few hours only. So it can be easily bought on the internet and deployed and configured remotely through the cloud providers websites. So your IT team can very easily configure and manage the setup remotely with just an internet connection only. Then optimization of staffing budgets. So in many cases, the staffing budgets makes up for more than half of the total computing costs, simply because good IT engineers are difficult to find and are expensive. So with public cloud, companies need to budget only for the cloud services, and since the management of cloud is extremely easy, they can always restructure their IT teams and use the skillful resources in the areas that make more money for the business. Then no maintenance. The cloud provider is uh, cloud provider is responsible for maintenance of the hardware, software, and networks in the cloud. So business therefore do not need to worry about keeping their infrastructure up to date or worry about the aspects like security and upgrades. So it allows them to run the infrastructure with a minimum IT staff, thereby significantly reducing the overall costs. Then no long-term contracts are needed over here. Small and medium business typically do not want to get into long-term contracts and commit to certain storage or the bandwidth capacity because a lot of times they are not really sure about the real requirements. So in such kind of a situations, the public cloud hosting works out very well because it does not require a long-term commitment or the investment. So the cloud providers usually offer pay-per-use you grow that kind of a model, which makes the overall engagement extremely easy and hassle-free. Then economics of scale. So the public cloud offers massive economics of scale. It is extremely difficult to match it with private data centers. Businesses can be assured that the businesses can be assured that the infrastructure is optimally used and the inevitable peaks and drops in the workloads are well taken care of. Since the infrastructure costs are shared across the multiple users, the cloud providers typically optimize the hardware needs of its data centers and offer the services at lower cost. Lecture चालू आहे. Then is agility. So today business needs to be quicker and more dynamic. So being agile enables all the businesses to take quicker decisions and appropriately prioritize the work and ensure the customer satisfaction. So with the public cloud, business experience simplified the internal operations, better delivery, better collaboration, faster rollouts of new business initiatives, and improve the data gathering and analysis ability. Then global in minutes. So be it the startup in India or online banks in New Zealand, several business which want to provide 24/7 access to their system to their customers or employees are adopting the public clouds. The public cloud providers, with their massive networks of servers, network bandwidth, and the IT resources, are making the robust computing environment available and accessible for SMEs worldwide. So in the situations when a certain sensitive data needs to reside inside the boundaries of a particular nation, the public cloud makes it quick and easy to simply select the data center from that nation. The cloud providers have data centers across the world, and business can select the one according to their business needs. Then high flexibility without the redundancy. Then high flexibility without redundancy. I'm introducing my baby with you. Hi, 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 hi. So high flexibility without redundancy. So before the era of cloud, business needed to buy additional hardware, storage, and software to prepare themselves for the failures. So this means that in many of the cases, they had to duplicate their efforts and costs for ensuring the business continuity. So with the cloud, the data is automatically mirrored on the data centers located at other locations, freeing up the business from worrying about the data backup or excess costs. Then maximum uptime and zero risk failure. So here, almost all the public cloud providers guarantees more than 99% uptime and no risk of failure, since the overall cloud system interconnects several servers. So in case of failure of any particular server, the owner, the other server takes over the workload automatically. So it will ensure the smooth and continuous performance for business critical application. Cloud computing is no more just a buzzword. It is proven and widely used option for SMBs worldwide. So typically applications which are web-based, customer-facing, and require multiple users to connect from different locations are most suitable for the cloud deployment. So these are some of the reasons for going for the public clouds. Still, some 10 considerations to choose between the public cloud or private clouds that are given over here. Why to go for public cloud, when to go for private cloud. So these are some considerations for the same. First is the security. Security reason. So security is the primary concerns for many app developments that build safety, critical apps, and for the example, banks. In so for example, the banks, insurance companies, and many other that handle money transfers, personal information that is critical by any level, and other critical data. So regardless of whether the app is meant to be data, user, and safety critical, it is naturally always important to rely on the services that reliable, provide certifications, and take security measures seriously. So when we compare public and private cloud implementations, it is safe to say that the private environment provides a more secure approach. So despite it is always highly recommended to be demanding on security issues, in too many cases, the security topics have been seen as a blocking issue for the use of the clouds. So on-premise solutions naturally provide the most secure solution, but they don't run by themselves. They require constant attention, maintaining the infrastructure, device, tool, integration, and many other things. So this gap between an on-premise solution and a private cloud is actually pretty significant nowadays. So there are a variety of ways to build a private cloud environment to be highly secure, providing a lot of great security implementations and methods to get access between private cloud and the local development environment for. So for example, certain data and the user protection mechanisms and other techniques and practices can be utilized in the service providers data centers. So in addition to that, the firewall, intrusion detection, SSL, your secure socket layer, and app security methods, 24/7 security measurements and monitoring, and the third party certifications for security practices can be also implemented on the private clouds. Then next is the data ownership and the maintenance. So the ownership and the actual physical location of the data, test and app details run, and may other things look to be the same when public and private cloud implementations are compared. So however, private cloud instance always means that it is entirely separated from the public setup, servers, databases, and the networks. Private cloud setup means that it is entity of its own. So with all these features included, but only dedicated and reserved for one use. So backing up hard disks, making sure no files, data, or other, for example, user information is left on anywhere has been one of the most important reason for so many companies to use on-premise solutions. So however, this again does not change much with the private cloud if implemented the right way. you still do not give access to anyone outside of your organization. All the data, ownership of it, backing it up is taken care for you. So doing this locally is not always an easy and straightforward task and can mean some serious operations expenses. Both cloud options provide these kinds of tasks as a service. A private cloud provides here very compelling offering as a data aspects. The maintenance of databases, logs, and user information is taken care for you with security measures. Third is performance and availability. So performance in nearly all of the cases is based on the infrastructure and how things have been built. So as private cloud is meant to be used only by one company, they do not get any traffic from outside. The infrastructure hardware is reserved and dedicated to just one company. They tend to provide the best performance in terms of computing power, fastest access to devices, test runs, results, and all the other assets. For availability, a private cloud naturally means those reserved and dedicated services only for one customer's use. Those can be shared across different development teams geographically, so they are used at different times of the day. When comparing the availability of the device access and efficient use of the cloud service, it is essential to consider if the service and the environments are critical, important, or medium level importance to you. The uptime and the availability metrics should always be high for any good and reliable cloud service. So in the case of sudden event, there should be redundant operations that can get users up and running as soon as possible. For example, using mobile devices from various data centers. This is the one example. The same applies to the backup services so that the users can access the files, results, and the data when something breaks. Then next is support and the self-service. So the old rule of thumb is great product without the great support is like a flower without water. Or some people see it differently. When you don't need support, everything works like a charm. So the support in the context of private cloud means that those instances are supported for their users. All infrastructure and the devices are up and running. Support is naturally much more than the DevOps like infrastructure maintenance. So both the cloud options typically are built around the automation, providing a variety of different monitoring capabilities, and monitoring of the infrastructure devices and the databases are taken care by its provider only. So this type of support covers the self-service. It is absolutely a must to have good documentation, plenty of tips and ticks, and the best practices material available for the service users. Then enhancement and the update policies. So both the cloud models, public and private clouds, are software as a service type of services. Typically with private clouds, the service roadmap is drafted when the service is brought up. This includes all the details of how the mobile devices are upgraded, what new features are adopted in the infrastructure and the service. So how the users can access the infrastructure and what update policies are being adopted. Then integrations. Integrations are the development and testing environments. Then frameworks and the tools are nowadays pretty easy. Agile process backup this sort of thinking, and many popular CI/CDs tools are easy to be extended without the additional software. So the integration is the key to efficient use of all the tools and the softwares. So in this context, it is recommended that open standard and the technologies are used as widely as possible to avoid the vendors lock-ins, expensive maintenance cost, and also the time-consuming customization work between different technologies. So ideally, you should look for cloud-based solutions that provide these capabilities with APIs, then open standards, and all required bits and pieces for you to connect with your in-house infrastructure. This will make the integration simple, fast, and cost-effective. Then next is the usability. Seventh is the usability. So good usability and great user experience are the topic priorities for cloud providers. And as the usability is also one of the top criteria for efficient and productive product development, cloud platform must provide compelling features, support for a variety of different open source frameworks. So the open source part is important here, as it means both in public and private cloud users must have access to the source all the time. So this provides the required flexibility in terms of vendors, frameworks, typically even cross-platform point of view. So the use of the service must be intuitive, easy to start, use, and scale up. When it comes to the usability, it is always a good sign when the community provides constant updates through source code commits, webinars, guidance sessions, and other online events. So one known factor to build up the confidence and provide a way much better usability experience of the service is when you have a free trial to service to experiment it further. So this means transparency and openness, and typically that provides a great foundation for the users to get started with the service. Next, contractual flexibility, that is subscription versus license free. So no company wants to lock themselves into a deal that does not provide consistent value to them. The greatest benefit of using the subscription models that both the public private cloud provider is that you can use it when you need it. So ideally, subscription should provide diversity in terms of different features and capabilities, and provide a flexibility plan for each type of user or any type of a need. So the very same applies for migrating or switching between the plans. It is very common that while your development and testing are going on, you need for real devices increase as well. So it is quite common that contractual flexibility is the highest when the subscription model is offered. So for example, with on-premise setup, not only the costs are coming in from operation expenses, users of that sort of environment still need some infrastructure, devices, server machine, additional software installed, and many other things that bring in the hidden cost. So with public and private clouds, the costs are fixed for period of time. Then next is infrastructure scalability. So with on-premise solution, you need your own device and whole in-house hardware infrastructure. So typically this is pretty straightforward to set up, but naturally running, maintaining and monitoring the whole system takes a lot of time. Needs to be done 24/7 to get an efficient environment for developers to use. Also, the scalability is not necessarily easy if you don't have appropriate products that can handle a large number of devices in use. So communicate with the rest of the infrastructure and deliver you the result. Typically, the size of internal development environment labs with real devices varies from 20 devices to several hundreds of the devices. So while setting up and even operating some of these, we have learned a thing or two on how to build, operate, and maintain an enterprise grade test lab. So if you are seriously considering the building an in-house test environment, check the other solutions over here also. Then references and customer recommendations. So existing customers excuse me. Existing customers and users are great sign of something. So going through the existing users success stories, testimonials and case studies can give you the confidence of an existing system in place. Reviewing customer stories and even asking directly from them how they feel about the system is also encouraged. So you will also learn if they had any other hiccup not related to the software service or adaptations, but in more general, what were the extra miles in other parts of the development, integration and adaptation they had to go through. So to summarize, these are the important metrics or features to be asked. Performance of the system in terms of responsiveness and uptime, then functionality and how to fully exploit for those great features, usability, and what does the reference customer like about it. And finally, how does the vendor of the service response and support their customers in case of issues, questions, or anything that will help you to get value out of this. So these are the 10 considerations to choose between public and private cloud. Then coming to the next bit, that is public cloud service models. So already we have studied these models, software as a service, infrastructure as a service, and the platform as a service. So this software as a service, this will give quick access to the cloud-based web applications. The vendor controls the entire computing stack, which you can access using the web browser. So these applications run on the cloud and you can use them by a paid licensed subscription or for free with limited access. Software as a service does not require any kind of installation or downloads in your existing computing infrastructure. This will eliminate the need for installing the applications on each of your computer with the maintenance and support taken over by the vendor. Some known examples of this are Google G Suite, Microsoft Office 365, Dropbox, etc. Next is infrastructure as a service. So here it is basically a virtual provision of computing resources over the cloud. An IaaS cloud provider can give you the entire range of computing infrastructure such as storage, server, networking hardware, alongside maintenance and support. Business can opt for computing resources of their requirement without the need to install hardware or on their premises. So Amazon Web Service, Microsoft Azure, Google Compute Engine, and some of the leading IaaS cloud service providers are the examples here. And PaaS, Platform as a Service, it is essentially a cloud base where you can develop, test, and organize the different applications for your business. Implementing the PaaS simplifies the process of enterprise software development. The virtual runtime environment provided by PaaS gives a favorable space for developing and testing the applications. The entire resources offered in the form of servers, storage, and networking are manageable either by the company or a platform provider. So Google App Engine and AWS Elastic Beanstalk are the two typical examples of PaaS, Platform as a Service. PaaS is also subscription based and gives you flexible pricing option depending on your business requirements. Okay, so these are the basics for the public cloud service models. So this SaaS, IaaS, and PaaS, these are the public cloud service model. Then the public cloud vendors and their offerings in all these three terms in detail we will see in our next lecture, and also we'll go for the basic compute for the AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud Platform in our next lecture. Okay, so I think we will stop over here. So if you have any doubt, you can raise your query, or else we will stop. You can put your attendance in the chat and then you can leave. Thank you.